Hello there. This is your friendly neighborhood mama bird and hostess, MK Wizard, though you may call me Mary. I would like to start off by saying terribly sorry for yesterday's video. I am redoing it today because I made the mistake of not having any sound. So this time I'm going to make absolutely sure that you can hear my lovely voice so you can get what I'm saying in this video rather than just staring at a picture for 14 plus minutes. Also, like I said before, the new schedule is going to be that from now on, I'm going to make videos every Wednesday or Thursday because my life has changed a bit in real life and it is requiring me ch- to do things this way. Sorry for the stutter. Anyways, on to the topic at hand: how to make reboots, sequels, spin offs, and reimaginings better. Before we get into it, I want to make it very clear that the reason I'm doing this is because I personally believe, and contrary to what the mainstream opinion is, we actually need all of those things more than ever now because I see what the current generation is doing, and believe me, I know this better than most people because I am a mother of the current new generation. I see the kids picking up things like classic Garfield, being drawn to Looney Tunes, and preferring G1 Transformers over all the other versions of Transformers out there. So I have reason to believe that it's not for nothing that the generation that wasn't even born like up to like 40 years ago is so drawn to the classic stuff. And I'm thinking that maybe, especially with the success of a lot of other sequels like Beetlejuice, Top Gun Maverick, and more, it's actually a great time for reboots, sequels, and spin offs, and as well as reimaginings to, in fact, make the scene. But there's a wrong way to do it and a right way to do it. And because too many other YouTubers out there have discussed in full detail over and over again how not to do it, I want to do something constructive and instead discuss how we can make all of those things better. So, number one, you got to know the source material. And not just the surface level stuff like Superman is Clark Kent and wears a red and blue suit with a cape. I'm talking about you really, really know the source material. Like, really have done your homework front and back and left to right. Like, you could know facts that almost only the creators would know. If you don't, and don't even so much know what you're doing, you're not going to create a great reboot, sequel, spin-off, or reimagining. You're going to make something that's a mess, unrecognizable, and would have been better off just being an original piece. And let's face it, executives themselves have been guilty of doing this, hence why the Shira reboot was a bit messy. Not that it was a totally bad show. It did have its good points, but as a Shira reboot, it was not good. Because Noelle Stevenson did not know anything about Shira. She was not the girl they should have gone to, even though she is a great storyteller, a great author, and is amazing at what she does. But, you can be the best writer in the world, but if you don't know the material you're working with, you're a fish out of water. So, yeah, in short, know the source material before you get into it. Number two, you have to also love the media. And I don't mean just like or be a casual fan. You have to love it. Because with love comes respect for the media and care for the media and the willingness to respect the rules and details in that media. More on that later. But the point is that if you love something to begin with, the things you create out of it, whether it is a reboot, a sequel, a spin-off, or a reimagining, you are more likely to make it with love. And it shows when something is made with love. Like Sailor Moon Crystal. It was gorgeous because you could tell that the people who made it were fans of Sailor Moon. It was made with such care, such beauty, such obvious affection for the series. And that's why it was a hit. That's the way it should be done. And it's quite frankly, it's not just me who thinks that or said it first. Even Henry Cavill, amazing guy, he said it best and said it first. When it came to this stuff, you have to be a fan of the source material, because if you don't even like what you're working with, why are you working with? You're going to be miserable. You're going to create something that's miserable. And you know what? You deserve better, and so do the fans. So the best thing to do is that if you're not a fan of that media, just leave it alone. No one will judge you. And in fact, if anything, it takes a strong person to just admit, I can't work with this stuff because it's not something that interests me or that I even like. That's what a professional does. Now, point 3, respecting the source material and rules of that fictional world are in fact very crucial. And while you could argue that some rules are meant to be broken, some are not. Like I said in another video a long time ago as a guest on Talk Nerdy to Me, shout out to them, you have to be willing to obey the constant points of a story. Like, for instance, in Aladdin, there's always got to be a genie in a lamp, and the main character's name has to be Aladdin or something of it, even if it is a reimagining. The Princess and the Frog has to have a frog, and the Transformers, ironically based on my fan novel cover here, they have to be able to transform. Of course, some rules can be broken or bent, like you don't have to make Optimus Prime the main character in every single series. In fact, I actually do agree with that idea. Exploring other characters as the focal point or even as primes themselves can actually be very interesting. Of course, you have to do that while also respecting Prime. It is not a competition with the source material. It is an honor and a homage. If you are not willing to respect the rules and limitation of a story, it goes back to my previous point. It means that maybe you shouldn't be working with it. Because if you're not respecting the rules and regulations that make the story and lore what it is, it's going to show. It's going to feel broken. It's going to feel like you're making fun of the story. It's going to feel like you're going, well, I can do better than the creators, and that's not very respectful. It's not respectful to them, and it's not respectful to the fans, and it is not respectful to yourself. Either you respect the rules and the limitations, or, well, I don't think I need to say it, and I'd rather not because I don't like being unkind. Anyways, that brings me to point 4. Always put quality and storytelling at the forefront. While every story and every tale has a message, a lot of these messages are generalizations and can be open to interpretation depending on the viewer. They are usually not one specific thing, and even when they are, they could be put into subsets. Like, for example, the X-Men represents the misfits. Misfits can be everyone and anyone. And they do not belong to one specific group or one specific person. And while there is nothing wrong with stories or even episodes that bring attention to serious topics, you have to accept that things like Transformers, Sailor Moon, Garfield, they are not talking points. They are stories that are there for escapism, for fun, and to just uh, to just bring a bit of levity into the world. People do not go to these things to just be reminded of how awful the world can be, or or be shamed. Like, come on, that's got to stop. And I'll just keep it at that. And quality in storytelling, and as well as in the animation and art, isn't just in the way you tell the story, but visuals do matter too, especially in comics and in animation. Like, back in the day, we didn't have as many bright colors. And for instance, when we were writing action comics or stuff like that, we allowed the adults to look like adults. We allowed characters to have edges, to have points and pointiness and such like that. There's nothing wrong with the staying in tune with that. Like, you don't have to be exciting and get an adrenaline rush with every single moment. It's okay to have quiet moments. It's okay for the colors to be a bit dulled down so you can focus. It's okay to just have characters talking or even just sitting and looking around so that we enjoy the scenery with them. Because let me tell you this, scenery, especially beautiful scenery in a cartoon, is a lost art. And with all that said, it brings me to my final point, which is directed mostly at my generation. And I'm going to say this in the friendliest way possible. Please have an open mind and accept the change of times when viewing or dealing with reboots, sequels, spin offs, and reimaginings. Because that's just the point. This is not the Sailor Moon, the Transformers, the G.I. Joe, or Dragon Ball you grew up with. It's something new for your children or grandchildren to enjoy. And not every single thing that they did back in the day has to be done that way now. And I'm going to say it outright. For some things, it is outdated. Some concepts are outdated. And some behaviors and some ideas are problematic. We are aware now that some behavior is not acceptable, not just from the villain, but also from the hero. Although in the case of the villain, they're supposed to be badly behaved so kids can see what bad behavior looks like and be aware of why it's bad. But anyways, heroes are supposed to always represent the best of us, but the best of us also learns from the mistakes of the past. So with that said, you have to expect certain changes in the times to reflect. Like, we're now aware that it's okay to be gay. We're a multicultural society, so that's going to show in how the cast is going to be colorful, inside and out. Or even technological advances, like people are going to have cell phones, they're going to have computers. Excuse me. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Like, you have to give modern interpretations a little bit of grace and a little bit of wiggle room to be modern. Not every instance of getting with the times is patronization or sabotage. It's just accepting that the year is right now 2026. Anyways, that is all I wanted to say. Excuse me. I just had to check something for a moment. Anyways, I'm back now, and as I was saying, this is all I have to say for now. I hope I gave you some insight and was as constructive as I tried to be here. Thank you very much for taking some time to hear me out and visit me. It's always appreciated. If you are a fan of my storytelling and my videos, please subscribe to this channel and also follow the links below to support me on Ko-fi and read my books as well as my comics or just enjoy my art. Every little bit of support is appreciated and helps, and I'm grateful for it all. So thank you in advance. You have yourself a great day, and I love you all. Bye.